Hey guys, Persian Monstar here. What you're about to see is an adventure of major proportions, one full of heartache, blood, sweat, tears, and ever ending anger. Yes, that's right, we are diving into Star Citizen. With that, I came into this, I want to get the best ship without spending real money because I don't have a lot of real money to spend. We will be trying to go from our current state to getting the 890 jump. There we go. We are working towards that, going through, like, again, all the trials and tribulations that will include. This is going to be broken up into multiple phases. So phase one is first getting the rep up. So hope you guys enjoy the episode. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and if you want to follow along live, follow me on the Twitch, link in description. Thank you guys so much and enjoy. Peace. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed your nostalgia. So with every plan that we have, we need to have also some phases that go along. This plan will have a total of 4 phases. Each phase will be guiding us to getting our hands onto the 890 jump in the most efficient manner that I could possibly think of. And that was with a friend. So with the help of my friend Mr. Sugar, we got right to work on phase one. And phase one has having us grind through member. Yeah, this is like the least exciting bit. Just to put it plain and simple, you're just flying back and forth, back and forth. So here's the thing. From junior to member, this takes a whopping total of 10 junior contracts to get to member, and then once you get to member, it takes 23 member contracts to unlock the next tier. And I'll be straight up, man, this is the hardest I've invested any sort of time into a video game ever. Outside of a couple, this is probably the one that has shaved off a couple years of my life. But I digress. This is where we knew we had to do an upgrade. We knew eventually doing shipments back and forth is not going to do anything for us. So that is why we knew coming up after member contracts, we would unlock Hull C contracts. So that would push us to purchase a Hull C. And real quick, just to some surface level digging, the cost of a Hull C is 16.5 million AUEC. The cargo capacity of 4,608 SCU, which is crazy, and an average output of 2 million AUEC per hour. I didn't want to look too much into the details about the ship just to surprise myself when that time came, but surely you can find a video out there that tells you all about the Hull C if you're looking for it. Now you might ask yourself, Persian Monstar, why would you go through all these hours, all these hurdles, all these challenges, technical issues, just for a ship? And I'm glad you asked, because I'm here to answer that. And what better way to do that with this prime, pristine, high quality image of the 890 jump? Because I'm a visual learner. And to add on to the visual, I have 3 key points on why the 890 jump is what I'm shooting for today. So the 890 jump has 3 points of interest for me. One, it's cool. I mean, just look at the thing. It just exudes everything that you want in a ship. Size, what it's intended for, just it is what it is. A mobile base, which won't get too much into that now, but do stay tuned. But if you want to keep all your operations in the base and only having to seldomly go down to planet side to refill on certain supplies or make supply runs, again, makes the experience more efficient. And finally, aura. I mean, this is plus 10,000 aura, and if you pull up next to someone, they're going to be for sure jealous. And so to go back, yes, the gameplay we are seeing before our eyes is of me running back and forth, going through the junior hauling missions and the member hauling missions. So I won't want to bore you with that footage because, again, just redundant things. And if you want to catch that live, come over to the Twitch. All right. So on that note, I want to go into what exactly junior contracts are and member contracts are, just in case you are someone who wants to follow along or do what I do. All right, so let's first start with junior hauling contracts, simply because that's where I started. So one, the reputation. A reputation is required of junior hauler. That's basically your default starting rank. Cargo sizes are going to be small, nothing crazy. You won't need the greatest ships to carry that. I believe I was running for a good majority of my Drake Cutlass. So if you have something that's comparable to that, you'll be just fine knocking out a few of those hauling contracts per run. Again, payout isn't going to be the greatest, typically on the lower end. You can make something like 200k per run, and that might be wrong. That's just through my experience. Locations usually are just going to be short, so between stations and outposts, it's like Seraphim would be the most popular one I was running. And in purpose, these missions are basically like a prove yourself run to build your hauling reputation and unlock better contracts. Now this is the real exciting part. Let's now move over into member hauling contracts. Again, reputation that you're going to be needing here is a member. And in order to get to member, you're going to need 10 junior contracts or about 500 rep. Cargo size, we have a medium cargo size runs here. Again, medium, bigger than small, so higher volume shipments. So for here, you're gonna probably need something a little bit larger in your fleet. In the footage, we're using my buddy's C2, but when we're not together, I was running these shipments using my Argo raft. Payout is gonna be on the higher end. So where before I was looking at 200k, here we're looking at, I would say, at least double it and give it to the next person. And that's the kind of money we're looking at per hour. Now you might be able to squeeze and play with the SCU size, but in my experience, I was kind of going by the book as far as what cargo capacity was. So there's that. But your payouts are going to definitely be higher. Locations are going to be longer routes. And the biggest change here is instead of it being I'm going to go to from Seraphim to August Dunlow and back, and there we go. There, I just did a set. This is going to take you on a longer path. Most of the time, you're going to be going to, let's say, one system or planet, and you're going to have to stop at 3 different locations on said system. And that's how you're going to get those contracts. So again, longer time to complete is the bigger thing. Won't touch on difficulty. Obviously, you're carrying more valuable cargo and making longer treks. So obviously with that, you're going to take on some higher risk. But the big purpose here, like I said, the junior is to show you an introduction into the play, nothing crazy, take you from a point A to point B in a short amount of time. This one really tests you on real freight work and is the stepping stone to experience contracts which have large holes and large payouts. which we will see here in the future. Now, I just labeled some stats that I quickly looked up and rummaged for, but that's not the point here. The point of me doing this isn't the payouts. If I wanted higher payouts, then I would just stay in the rookie or junior contracts that I've already was doing. But with the goal of getting to the 890 jump, we needed access to better contracts or just more abundant contracts. And getting there requires me doing member contracts. So I'm losing out on a bit of money, but we will make up for that in later bits. But this has been part 1. In the end, we do we do get past our member, and we finally get to have access to the Hull C. So that concludes phase 1. Appreciate you guys following along, watching to the end. And if you did enjoy this episode, do follow along for more parts as we get closer to the end goal of an 890 jump. And if you do want to follow along live, chat it up, then do follow the Twitch. You can find the link of that in the description. And until then, I will catch you guys later. Peace out and love.